Rob Salisbury coming to you this morning from Southeast Asia. I trust you're well wherever you're at and whatever you're doing and whatever time of day it is. It's morning here in Singapore. That's where I'm filming from, and a little bit casual this morning because I'm flying out a couple hours to Melbourne and then up to Sydney, Australia for meetings next week. But the reason I've put this particular piece together to speak with you specifically is because on the 20th of September, I've been invited back to the National Speakers Association of Australia in Sydney to the New South Wales members and guests to speak on two topics that night. The first one's going to be an added value session where I'll be speaking on how to get more mileage from going to trade shows and expos, and there's so many to really go to, and which ones you go to in your city, in your region, maybe in your country, or maybe around internationally that you cannot afford to miss. These have helped me build my business internationally in the last 20 years, and becoming a CSP didn't happen by accident. It happened with a lot of hard work over a lot of time, but it happened from going to trade shows and meeting people as well as other people that were small business operators, multinational corporation decision makers, and people who grew up over the course of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s and took me along with it as a trainer, as a speaker, as an MC, as a host, as a consultant, and it just goes on and on in there. So that's the first session I'll be talking to you about on that night. So the details are going to be on the screen, and you can look at those details and book in with the phone number or the email details of the National Speakers Association in Sydney, Australia. Now the second occasion I'll be speaking on will be later on that night after a first speaker, and my topic is going to be on ideas on how you can avoid some of the pitfalls of going and working in Southeast Asia or Asia, and also some of the profits you can enjoy as a speaker and a trainer, and some of the strategic alliances and partnerships that you can put together to really have a lot of fun and make a lot of money and expand your business. You know, my business started years ago in the United States, and over the course of time I was taken to Canada, Mexico, Japan, Australia, and from there it just expanded and expanded. So if I can do it, I think just about anybody can. The fact is, you can still do a lot and do a lot very, very progressively and build your business long term in this industry. So looking forward to seeing you. And before I go, let me share a couple tips with you. One of the things I've learned from being on the road, you might say, is there's some ideas you can definitely save money and time. Let me give you a couple ideas right away. First and foremost, one of the things you can do is when you're traveling is get yourself one of these little satchels. This is like a business card holder, but it's not for business cards. These are for all the cards that you're going to pick up along the way in different markets. This happens to be Singapore. I have one for Hong Kong. I have one for China. I have one for the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. I have one for the UK. I have one for the Europe, as well as one for New Zealand, Australia, and the States. Why? Because you pick up different cards you need when you're traveling, and some of these are going to be really, really ones you'll have for a long time, and you don't realize it right away. This is a EasyLink card. This is in Singapore. This is for using the MRTs, the mass rail transport systems here, buses, the rail systems, and they're very, very inexpensive to get, and they're also fantastic to keep, and you just build and build and build on them. Also in Hong Kong, they have an octopus card, and these are the types of things that you're going to want to have when you're traveling overseas because they do build upon itself. One of the other tips, of course, is hardly ever exchange your money because you're going to be coming back to your country one day. You want to make sure you can use the same money, and you always lose money on the exchange rate when you come through the airport to go to your bank, so that's where they make their money. The other thing to do is, of course, as quick as possible, get yourself frequent flyer cards. Now, there's generally two different types of alliances nowadays that are very, very good to be a part of. The Star Alliance Network and the One World Network. This is a card I got in 1994 when I started flying back and forth between the U.S. and Australia via New Zealand, and this is with Air New Zealand. I'm a Jade member, and I use this card whenever I'm flying with Air New Zealand. The other card I use and have been for the last few years has been my Singapore International Airlines. It's called KrisFlyer. I'm a member of them. So whichever ones I use, I get points, and I get them through their Star Alliance partnerships. The other card I got a number of years ago is another one, and this is my Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer American Express. Every single dollar I spend on anything that goes on this card goes right into my KrisFlyer account, and that stacks up points to use for different things. There's a couple tips. And then finally, of course, the one that I use all the time. Last year, I flew over 60 times with British Airways, Lufthansa, and also with Qantas, and that's my Qantas frequent flyer card. You want to be able to build up your points, because what happens is these can be used towards upgrades. Also, the Qantas clubs are all free, and the premium clubs that are for the platinum members, those are fantastic to go to and use. And whenever you find yourself stuck on a flight that perhaps is laying over, you can use their frequent flyer lounges and stay in there pretty much as long as you like. And while you're there, you get some other things too. Now here's some tips on some of the things that I've picked up over the years. Different magazines that have helped me expand my business. This is one called MICEnet Asia. I'll just show you a couple. And some of these are ones that I pick up when I'm at hotels. Some of them are ones I pick up when I'm in the lounges of different airlines when I'm flying through. And some of them are ones you just pick up as a part of subscription. So this one's called CEO, the choice for high-level executives. I'll show you a couple more, maybe some you've heard of. These are fantastic for venues and also the contacts for general managers. V&T venues and destinations. This is a planner for 2012. It's called Mice BTN, and great folks here, know them a long time. Executive PA Magazine. This is extended across the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia through Singapore. And a magazine called Spice that's been around for a number of years. Always good, refreshing stories and ideas, but also to let you know about different things that are going on in your backyard that you should be aware of. And a couple more, Destin Asia. Now these may be magazines you've never seen before, but over the course of the years, I've not only got a subscription to them, but I get almost all of them, if not all of them, free to my front door where I want them delivered. And TTG Mice and Asian Journeys. These are always good to pick up. This is good. Floyd does this one. CIM. And the list goes on and on. So there's a couple tips for you. While you're flying and you're doing what you're doing, make sure you pick up the magazines. Most of the times they're free, and it's a good thing for you to pick up and just thumb through. And I normally read them on the plane, which doesn't take long. You're always going to be waiting 15-20 minutes to get off the ground. You can read them while the plane's going up, and you can read them before your service comes, your drinks and food, etc. And I hope that gives you some ideas on what you can do to expand your business. So my name is Rob Salisbury. Looking forward to seeing you at the National Speakers Association meeting if you can make it on that night. Otherwise, perhaps another time we'll get together. And if you do come on that event, we'll be giving away a couple copies of this 2012 bestseller produced by Marshall Cavendish Asia called 88 Essential Secrets for Achieving Greater Success at Work and Play. I contributed a chapter on sales and marketing here. Very proud of what we wrote, and it's been a bestseller this year, and it continues to be through the stores here in Southeast Asia, all the way up to Malaysia, Indonesia, into Hong Kong, etc., through the bookstores. So good chatting with you. It's beginning to get a bit warm here. You can see people walking by. It's very, very busy, and it's going to be a cracker of a day here in Singapore. And wherever you're at, I hope you're doing well. So Rob Salisbury signing off. Look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Until then, do well. Have a great day. Continue doing well with your clients and customers. Cheers.